What's up, guys? It's your boy Franklin here, and today we got ourselves a brand new video. Before we get into it, please like and subscribe. That is the best way to support me for free. You guys have been killing it through all your constructive criticism, and you guys have been enjoying my videos a lot more often, and it clearly reflects based on the views and the likes. So I appreciate your guys' support. Let's keep smashing that like and subscribe button as we try to approach the 10,000 subscribers, something I never imagined would happen. So let's get right into the video. So, is Pokemon starting to become money greedy? AKA, is Pokemon starting to rely too much on a paywall? This is a very interesting topic because I noticed a lot of my comments recently have been money this, money that. Pokemon is charging this much. How much does an Urshifu? eh, How much will Pokemon charge for to get an Urshifu into Scarlet and Violet and all that sort of stuff? So I'm here to address a couple things. Like, this isn't relatively a new topic or new question of concern because we've seen it in historical settings in Pokemon for quite a while. So let's go jump into the first prime example. And I'm going to have to say Ultra Sun and Moon was one of them. If you guys recall, Ultra Sun and Moon are the quote unquote sister games. Key word, sister games, because there were two for Sun and Moon. Rather than being a third sister game, which was our tradition with Pokemon like Crystal, Platinum, and Emerald. And I think Black 2, White 2 kind of started this trend. Ultra Sun and Moon was very interesting. And yes, we did get like new Pokemon, new forms, new Z moves, new move tutors, pretty much new activities that you can do in the game. It was a true experience. It kind of felt kind of like a slap in the face for several fans that I've talked to, saying that Pokemon is really charging us $40 or $50 if you're from Canada or whatever to replay the entire story again in order to get the exclusive content to these games, rather than making it a $7.99, $5.99 DLC for post story or whatever. And I think this is where Pokemon started realizing that, wait, we should be doing DLC instead of making sister games. And obviously that's reflected on with the Nintendo Switch mainline games. People were complaining about, the sluggish story at the beginning, especially when you're going through the first three islands. It gets pretty boring. I'll admit that. And people were wondering, why couldn't we just get one sister game? Why couldn't we just have DLC? And obviously, the stories between these and the prior games, Sun and Moon, they're relatively the same. Outside of like a couple events like the Poiple line, it really is still the same story you're playing over and over again. So that's where the biggest criticism of a paywall, quote unquote, started, surfacing with this franchise. And then we go on to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. This is kind of interesting because this is like maybe the first instance, and I'm pretty sure my memory is not serving me right because I'm pretty tired now. But correct me if I'm wrong, but this is pretty big paywall slap in the face when it comes to one Pokemon and Pokemon charging us 40 to 50 bucks for an item to use for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee just to get a specific Pokemon, Mew, which technically doesn't even change anything in regards to your playing experience of these games. It would have been cool if you got this Mew and it opened up a brand new post story, but it's just more of a collection or more of a mystery gift sort of collector item if you really cared about that. But charging people 40 to 50 bucks to get the item that gets access to Mew, yeah, I'll admit, it's kind of stupid. So then now we have one of the bigger controversies recently is Pokemon Home. And not just for the VGC players, which I'm kind of done talking about Worlds now. Pokemon Home replaced essentially Pokemon Bank. And if you recall, Pokemon Bank on the 3DS, it was like $5 a year at that point. Now, with Pokemon Home, there are free services, don't get me wrong, but they're locked behind certain boxes. So obviously, the higher tiers you pay, the more boxes you have access to those for storage or transferring of Pokemon. And this gets a little interesting because it kind of ties in with the DLC. And I'm going to refer to the first wave of DLC that we ended up getting, the expansion pass for Sword and Shield, which gave access to the Aloe Armor and the Crown Tundra. So, you technically didn't need to buy the DLC in order to have access to these Pokemon. If you have a trading partner or somebody that's willing to give you those Pokemon, it was essentially a free update. Now, of course, if you wanted your own Urshifu, you wanted your own Calyrex, of course, you're gonna have to buy the DLC, and the DLC was $30. I think the DLC being $30, very subjective, but I think it's priced somewhat fairly, somewhat. But I really love the Crown Tundra a lot more than the Aloe Armor, so I think I got my money's worth because the scenery in the Crown Tundra is absolutely beautiful, while the Aloe Armor, it was okay. Did I feel like I got my money's worth? Yeah, sure. But of course, if you're one of those people that buy the expansion pass for new Pokemon, like the Galarian Slowpoke you see down there, or the Urshifu or the Calyrex or the new Pokemon, of course, because people ultimately want the overall complete experience of playing Pokemon, especially for Sword and Shield, because the biggest criticism of Sword and Shield was it felt completely empty. And sure, we had the wild area, but it definitely needed more revitalization by expanding the region more. And the DLC definitely did fix that. And my opinion of the DLC was that while I believe it's somewhat fairly priced, if the DLC was actually part of the base game, I think Sword and Shield's criticism definitely softens up a little bit. So there you have it. And then we have the upcoming DLC with the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero for Scarlet and Violet. Again, I'm starting to see like a lot of these opinions of saying, well, why is Pokemon charging us so much for the ultimate experience of playing Pokemon? Well, you got to think it's a business. It's a business standpoint. That's how they're going to make their money. Now, of course, there's other companies, other developing companies that will put out DLC for free. Don't get me wrong. This isn't something new to video games in general, but it's Pokemon. I mean, I hate to say this because I'm very anti, capitalism when it comes to this kind of stuff, and I don't want to be political about it, but at the end of the day, they can do whatever they want. They can charge us $100. Whether people are going to buy it or not, that's up to the consumer. And I always tell people this main thing. Like, if you want Pokemon to improve, you should stop buying Pokemon stuff. You should stop buying the DLC. You should stop buying the games. You should not be charging yourself $15 or whatever the price is now for a Pokemon Home every year. Now, if you really want to see improvement, if you really want to send a message, you got to hurt them where it hurts the most, and that's their pockets. But hey, I'm just a PokeTuber. I always talk about Pokemon all the time, and they get the free advertisement, the free streaming revenues or whatever due to the amount of people, streaming Pokemon, talking about Pokemon. It's free ads for them. It's an endless cycle. I really do hope that Pokemon doesn't blatantly become a paywall in order to fulfill the ultimate experience. And I think Dex Cut really hurt the fan base quite a bit in regards to that opinion, because everybody wants their 1,000+ Pokemon in a single game. Everybody wants multiple regions in a single game. But due to the timing, the stress, and probably the restrictions that Game Freak might have on themselves, they just can't do that. They cannot please everybody. And so they make these decisions that obviously in the eyes of the fans, it comes back to bite them. So there you have it. That's just my opinion. Do I really think Pokemon is kind of suffering from a paywall? Well, if they're still making money, I don't see why it's hurting them, honestly. I don't think Pokemon is suffering from that kind of stuff, but it definitely hurts the fans when they start realizing that if you want the ultimate experience, you're going to have to fork up quite a bit of money. But there you have it. That's just my opinion. If you guys like more content like this, please like and subscribe. That is the best way, again, to support me for free. Let me know your guys' opinions in the comment section down below. I know this is probably like a shorter video because talking about consumerism and revenues is a massive topic, especially for a Pokemon company that's worth billions, historically billions upon billions. And this is just the video game aspect. I haven't even talked about the anime, the trading card game, the merchandising. That's just a whole nother monster. But I feel like the video games, they're starting to hit this cycle. And we just keep falling for it. That's just how it is. And again, like I said, the best way to send a message is just to hurt their pockets. There you have it, guys. It's your boy Franklin signing out. Peace.